So if I understand you clearly, the Jesus that was saved from death, it means he was saved from staying dead till the day of resurrection.
Death is permanent, but death got interrupted on his behalf.
Hi, welcome to Religious Insight, and on this amazing video with godlogic, a Muslim cannot accept that Jesus died for our sin. Let's watch this video to get more details.
Godlogic.
Izzy,
Yeah, good evening.
welcome back, man. Welcome back.
Thank you. I can see you've been cooking me every day.
Yeah. So what's the issue, man, with the atoning sacrifice of Jesus, man? What's the problem there? Why do you guys reject
Okay,
that?
it's not about Islam is false. I thought you are asking.
Well,
You said Islam is false, so I should tell you why Islam is true.
well, that's the background that I have. I don't have a background for the question that I'm asking. So that's
Oh, okay.
that's the sorry for the confusion.
Okay, actually, I believe with what Quran says in Surah An-Nisa'i, chapter 4, verse number 157, that says, وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ. They did not kill him, neither do they crucify him. وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ. It was made to appear to them So because the Quran says he was not killed nor crucified, that's why I believe Jesus was not killed or crucified.
But it doesn't say that he
So
wasn't.
with the position of the Quran,
It doesn't say that he wasn't killed or crucified though. And
it says he was neither killed nor crucified.
nope. It only says that they didn't kill him or crucify him.
Yeah, it says that exactly.
Yeah, who's the they that it's talking about?
Yeah, it's talking about the Jews.
Right. And which would actually be correct. The Jews aren't the ones who crucified Jesus. It would have been the Romans, right?
Yeah, so because the Quran say he wasn't killed, I stand with what I believe is true.
But it doesn't say he wasn't killed. It said they didn't kill him.
Yeah, okay. Let me correct it. I believe with the Quran that says they didn't kill him. So I believe they did not kill him, neither do they crucify him.
Which I agree.
But
the Jews didn't kill him.
you agree that?
I agree that the Jews didn't kill him or crucify him. It was the Romans that did it.
Okay. So now are you saying he did not die? Okay, Romans killed him. Oh, I get you.
Yeah, I'm saying he did die. It just wasn't at the hands of the Jews. Like they're not the ones who unalived him.
But the Quran did not specify they.
Well, it does actually. It does specify they, because if you read the verse prior, it's talking about how they unalived their prophets and they disbelieved. They even said some things about Mary, right? And so it's talking specifically about the Jews, right? They're the ones who unalived their prophets. They're the ones who are saying stuff about Mary, right?
The verse before specifically mentioned Jews.
This is what it says in the verse before. Let me go to it for you. So you got Surah 4, 156. All right.
Okay.
Actually, let's go to 155. Let's see what it says here. So it says, start at verse 155. It says,
okay.
It says, because of their breaking the covenant and of their rejecting the ayat of Allah, the signs of Allah, and of their unaliving the prophets unjustly, and of their saying, our hearts are wrapped. Nay, Allah has set upon their hearts because of a seal upon their hearts because of their disbelief, so they believe not but a little. So it's talking about the Jews, right? Something happened to he paused.
Okay, this is 155. I just opened it.
Yep, that's 155. Now, continuing.
They have incurred Allah's wrath upon them for the fact that they broke their covenant.
Yep.
That they rejected the signs of Allah. That they slew the messengers in defense of right. That they said, our hearts are hard. set the seal on their heart for their blasphemy, and they believe but a little.
Right. So it's talking about the Jews,
That's
right?
what the verse says.
That's why I know. I just read that. So that's talking about the Jews, right?
Even though I did not see where it talks about the Jews here, but maybe you can make it clearer to me.
My brother, who are the ones who had a covenant with Allah?
Okay, is the people of Jesus.
Who are they?
Okay, they are Jews.
Thank you. Who are the ones who unalived their prophets?
Yeah, the Jews.
There you go. Who are the ones, in the next verse, it says, and because of their disbelief and uttering against Miriam a grave false charge. Who was the ones that were accusing Mary of doing, bad things when Jesus was born?
Okay, it's the Jews.
Beautiful. So it's all about the Jews. And then verse 157 continues talking about the Jews, says, and because of their boasting, saying, we unalive the Messiah, son of Mary, the messenger of Allah. But then it says, but they killed him not, nor did they crucify him. But it was made to appear to them as so. Right? And, whoever does, those who differ therein are full of doubts. They have no knowledge. They follow nothing but conjecture, for surely they killed him not. Talking about the Jews.
So what about some of the verses? Maybe you can make it clearer in the book of Matthew, chapter 26, verse 39, popular verse that Jesus said, let this cup pass away from me, talking about let the death pass away from him. And in another verse, it says, Jesus said, my Father is not the one you asking for a bread, he give you stone, or you asking for a fish, he give you snake. Meaning what? If you ask his Father, he will give you what you ask. So in this place, Jesus asks his Father that he doesn't want to die.
Wait,
it is expected that God
just pause for a
should
second.
Answer his prayer.
Pause for a second. I understand what you're saying. Just before we move to the Bible, let's first, recognize what the Quran is saying. So we see that the Quran says is addressing the Jews, right? It never says that Jesus wasn't killed or crucified at all. It just says that the Jews didn't do it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that leaves open the I'm not saying that that's what the Quran said, like the Quran says he was crucified or whatever. I'm saying it doesn't deny it. And so it leaves open the fact that the Romans are the ones who did it, not the Jews, which is accurate to the historical narrative. He wasn't crucified by the Jews, he was crucified by the Romans. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understood your logic.
Mm-hmm. So now, going to the Bible, let's just straight away, let's be honest. Let's be as honest as we can. The Bible is explicit and emphatically clear that Jesus was crucified and rose again from the dead, right?
Yeah, but there are again some verses that will make you think twice about the issue.
There isn't a single verse that will make you think twice, because you have the explicit verses that tell you that Jesus was straight up crucified, he died, was buried, and he rose again after 3 days. Right? The Bible's absolutely clear about that. Can we agree?
Yeah, we can agree some verses of the Bible is very clear about that, and there are verses that will put some ambiguity about it.
Okay. So in light of the clear verses that show that Jesus is crucified, you can then, I guess, since you're saying that there's some things that are ambiguous about it, according to you, you interpret those ambiguous verses in light of the clear verses. Does it make sense? Same thing you would say about the Quran. There's verses that are unclear or ambiguous, but you would interpret those in light of the clear verses. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, but how can we do with the ambiguity?
I just told you. There is no ambiguity on the crucifixion of Jesus. There is none, and even you agree.
Okay, maybe you can explain the verses better and clearer so that I understand them better.
Explain
in
what?
their own context.
Explain what? What
For
verse?
example,
what verse suggests to you that Jesus did not die by crucifixion, when you clearly said that the Bible is clear and explicit on Jesus dying by crucifixion and rising again on the
For
third day?
example, the book of Hebrews says, during the time of his flesh, he cried with sweat flowing like a drop of blood to the only one who can save him from death, and he was heard.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Gospel of Matthew chapter 26.
Pause there. Pause there. We'll do it one at a time. So in Hebrews, you went to the verse where it says that he was heard when he prayed to the one who can save him from death. Now,
yes,
let's stay in Hebrews, okay? Because that was Hebrews 5 that you quoted. Hebrews 2 says this. Let me go to the part. Salvation. Sorry, I thought I had it just right here. What does it say? And sends him angels glory. All right, here it is. All right, so Hebrews 2 verse 9, it says, but we see him for a little while was made lower than the angels, namely Jesus, crowned with glory and honor because of the suffering of death, so that by the grace of God, he might taste death for everyone. So Hebrews 2, the book of Hebrews is clear before we get to chapter 5 that Jesus died, right? And tasted death for our sake, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when we get to Hebrews 5 and it says, okay, Jesus cried out to the person who can save him from death. How do we interpret it? What does that mean? When Hebrews and the rest of the Bible clearly say that Jesus died. Well, here's two ways you can be saved from death. And tell me if you agree with me. So you can be saved from death by not dying at all, right? Like you escaped a situation or, where you would have died, but you were saved, right? And so you were saved from death in that way. You agree with me? Well, you don't die at all.
Yes, I agree.
All right, beautiful. But then there's another way to be saved from death. Let me ask you this. How long is death? How long does death last?
I think if you die, you will remain dead till maybe Yomul Qiyamah,
until
day of resurrection.
Exactly, until the day of judgment, right? So death is permanent, right? You would say death is permanent, right?
Yeah.
Now, if God does a miracle and raises someone from the dead, would you be able to say that they were saved from death?
Yeah, he was saved from the long duration that he was supposed to remain dead.
So, in the same way, Jesus was saved from death by his resurrection. He died, so he experienced death, but how was he saved from death? Is that he didn't stay dead. Death is permanent, but God interrupted that and rose him again. So that's how he was saved from death.
So if I understand you clearly, the Jesus that was saved from death, it means he was saved from staying dead till the day of resurrection.
Mm-hmm. Death is permanent, but death got interrupted on his behalf.
Okay, I get, because I'm not trying to challenge and getting more knowledge about it.
Yeah, of course.
So I get the explanation. Then what about the Gospel of Matthew, that Jesus asked his father, and we all assume his father supposed to answer him.
He did.
He asked his father, he doesn't want to die.
Well, it's not that he doesn't want to die.
No. He said, let this cup pass away from me, not as I will, but as thou wilt.
Boom. So what does Jesus ask ultimately to be done?
For the cup to get away from him.
Nope.
Let this cup pass away from me. I think that's what the verse says.
Continue it, because that's not where it stops.
Not as I will, but as thou wilt.
Boom. So he says, Father, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, let your will be done, not mine. So what does
Yes,
Jesus
yeah.
ask? He asks that the will of the Father be done, not his own will, right?
Okay.
So it's the will of the Father for him to go through what he went through, and he went through it willingly, which is why Hebrews 5 tells you that he cried out to the one who could save him from death, and boom, he was saved from death
Okay.
through his resurrection.
Okay, so that means the will of the Father is for Jesus to die, and Jesus asks the way, not his own will, but God's will.
But the
And
will of the
God's
Father.
will is for him to.
But the will of the
God's
Father,
will is
yes.
for him.
Yeah, and just to be clear, like Jesus,
Yeah.
the Bible predicts all of this. Like the Bible in Isaiah 53, it says that he's a man of sorrows and griefs. He's bearing our griefs. He's carrying our sorrows. So the struggle of Jesus doesn't begin when he's on the cross and being crucified. That's not where his pain starts. His pain starts long before that in the garden, which is why he's praying intensively, because that's where he's beginning to bear our sins and bear our sorrows and our griefs and our pains and our suffering. He's taken it upon himself. So he's feeling it all. So when he's asking God, let your will be done, not mine, because he's asking, let this cup pass from me, but let your will be done, not mine. What he's doing is he's bringing his, because with Jesus, he's divine and he's human, has a human will and a divine will. He's bringing under subjection the human will to the divine will, that weak will to the divine will, right? So that he can continue and handle what he came to handle. So.
So lastly, last question. Can you explain the sign of Jonah for me? Because the way I understood it, Jesus did not fulfill the sign of Jonah because, as it says, the way Jonah spent 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the whale, so shall the Son of Man spend 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. And my assumption, which you can correct me, Jonah was alive in the belly of a whale. So I think it is expected for Jesus to also be alive for that period.
Well, he was actually dead.
Who died, Jonah?
Yeah, Jonah was dead.
Okay, but did it fulfill the 3 days and 3 nights?
Yes, that's just an idiom for a 3-day time span. So, like you have different phrases for that. There's he says 3 days and 3 nights. There's another verse where he says in 3 days. There's another verse where he says after 3 days. And there's a verse that says that on the 3rd day he will rise. So these are just idioms, all referring to a 3-day time span.
Okay, maybe I'll go and, because I didn't really get it, but maybe later I'll go and check it out and see if I can understand that.
Well, look, yeah, on your time when you check it out, read Jonah chapter 2. It shows you that Jonah was dead. It says that he was crying out from the belly of Sheol. Sheol in the Hebrew literally means the realm of the dead. And it says that he was in the pit and the gates of the earth closed behind him. All right, so it describes Jonah's death here and how God raised him back up.
In John chapter 2?
Jonah.
Oh, Jonah. Okay. Oh, all right. I think regarding crucifixion, these are my questions, and I will look after these things.
Okay. Well, I look forward to talking to you again, Izzy. You take care of yourself, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. Peace.
All right.
Right, welcome back, guys. I believe you enjoyed watching this video. Let us know your views about this video in the comment section, and if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do so. Hit the notification button so that you can be notified each time we post new and amazing videos like this. And we believe that our videos have been educating and also eye-opening to so many people, so do well to subscribe to the channel to get more fascinating videos from us. When it comes to teaching, understandings matters a lot. I think many Muslims have been misunderstanding this verse of the Quran for a very long time. When the Quran was talking about the death of Jesus, the Quran says that they did not kill Jesus and neither did they crucify him. The Quran is talking about here are the Jews and not the Romans. That the Jews did not kill Jesus, neither did they crucify him. Rather, the Roman soldiers did, not the Jews. Though the Jews were part of it, they were the agitated people who campaigned for Jesus to be killed, but they were not the one that crucified Jesus. The Roman soldiers were the ones that did. And I believe this is a very, very simple explanation, and many Muslims are yet to understand the interpretation of this verse of the Quran, and it has misled many, many of them. Regardless this interpretation, the Jews have a hand in it because they feel they were acting based on the law of Moses. They were the ones that campaigned and also were the agitated ones that campaigned for Jesus to be killed. So you cannot say they were not included. They were included, but they were not the one that crucified Jesus. Like I said earlier, this verse has led many Muslims astray, most especially the Muslim folks who believes that Jesus did not die, but Allah replaced him with someone else. That Allah took Jesus to himself and he replaced Jesus with one of the disciples to be killed in place of Jesus. So you see how difficult it was for this young man to accept the truth regardless the explanation God logic was able to give to him. So guys, let's know your views about this video in the comment section, and if you are yet to subscribe, please do so. Hit the notification button to be notified each time we post new and amazing videos like this. Thank you for watching. See you in our next video.